She left me for him, demanded my kid's Reddit story. If this story moved, you don't forget to drop a comment and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. I found her suitcase packed in the garage, her perfume still on his shirt from the night before. She walked out on me and our kids, but I'd be damned if she took our home. My name's Owen Preston. 42. A financial advisor in Raleigh, North Carolina, pulling mid-six figures with a talent for securing clients' futures. My life was solid, a craftsman-style house in a quiet suburb. 2 kids, Sophie 10 and Liam 6, and Ella, my wife of 12 years, whose smile could light up a boardroom or a PTA meeting. We weren't perfect, but we were us, Friday pizza nights, backyard soccer plans for a beach house someday. Until that night in March 2024, when I saw her with Mitchell Clayton and the ground dropped out from under me. Ella had been distant for months, late nights at her real estate firm, quick glances at her phone, perfume heavier than usual. I chalked it up to stress. Her firm was chasing big commercial deals and I was buried in tax season. But Sophie noticed it too, her eyes narrowing when Ella missed another school play. Mom's always gone, she'd mutter. Liam just clung to me, asking when Mommy would read to him again. I kept the family running school runs, client meetings, dinners on the table, thinking love could bridge the gap. I was wrong. The first twist hit on a rainy Tuesday. I came home early, arms full of groceries, and found Ella's suitcase in the garage, half-zipped, her silk scarf spilling out. My gut twisted. I checked our bedroom. Her closet was half empty. Then I saw it on the laundry pile, a man's dress shirt reeking of her jasmine perfume and his cologne. My hands shook as I held it, the fabric proof of a cheating story I'd refused to see. Ella walked in at 7:03 p.m., her coat damp, eyes wide when she saw me. "Owen," she said, her voice tight. "We need to talk." Talk. She sat me down calm as a lawyer and said she was leaving for Mitchell Clayton, her firm's top client, a slick developer with a penthouse downtown. "I love him," she said. No tremble, no tears. "I'm sorry." "Sorry." I stood, my voice low. "What about Sophie, Liam?" She looked away. "They'll be fine with you." Then she grabbed her suitcase and left the front door, slamming like a gunshot. The kids were asleep, thank God. I poured whiskey, the glass cold in my hand, and sat in the dark, her words looping. "I love him." Sophie found me at dawn, her voice sharp. "Where's Mom?" I knelt, my throat tight. "She's gone for a bit, kiddo. We've got this." Her eyes, too wise for 10, hardened. Liam woke later, crying for her, and I held him, my heart cracking. I called my dad, Frank Preston, a retired cop with a steel spine. "You're enough for them, son," he said, his voice gruff. "Keep moving." So I did school drop-offs, client calls, bedtime stories, while the ache grew heavy as lead. The second twist came a month later. I was checking Sophie's iPad for homework when a notification pinged Ella's social media, a photo of her and Mitchell at a Miami rooftop bar. Her laugh, bright, his arm around her. Sophie saw it too, her face crumpling. "She doesn't want us," she whispered, storming to her room. I followed, my voice steady. "She wants you, Soph. She's just lost." But I didn't believe it. I hired a PI, Vince Malone, an old friend from college, to dig into Mitchell. "He's a player," Vince said, sliding a folder across his desk. "Multiple affairs. Shady land deals. Ella's not his first." My stomach churned. Was she just another fling? I kept it from the kids, but Sophie's anger grew, her drawings dark with jagged lines. Liam stopped asking for her, his silence louder than tears. The third twist hit in June, when Ella called out of the blue. "Owen, I'm coming home," she said, her voice soft, shaky. "I made a mistake." My pulse raced, hope and rage colliding. I met her at a coffee shop, her eyes dull, no trace of Miami's glow. "Mitchell's gone," she said, sipping latte. "He cheated. I want to fix us. Fix us." I leaned back, my hands steady. "You left our kids, Ella. You don't get to waltz back." She flinched, tears welling. "I want them, Owen. My family. Her family." I walked out, the Raleigh heat suffocating her, plea echoing. Was she back for love, or because she'd lost? The fourth twist came a week later when a process server knocked. Ella had filed for custody of Sophie and Liam, claiming I was unstable and demanding the house, our house, paid for with my sweat while she danced with Mitchell. My blood boiled. Sophie overheard, her voice fierce. "I'm not going with her." Liam clung to me, silent. I called Vince, then my dad, who growled, "Fight Owen for them." I hired Kate Wheeler, a bulldog of a lawyer, and vowed to protect my kids. Ella had left us broken, but I'd rebuilt us stronger. She wouldn't take that away. Kate Wheeler's office smelled of leather and determination, the Raleigh skyline glinting through her window as she slammed a legal pad on her desk. "Ella's custody claim is weak," she said, her voice sharp. But her lawyer's a snake claims you're neglecting the kids' emotional needs. Neglecting the word burned Ella's suitcase, and Mitchell Clayton's cologne-soaked shirt flashing in my mind. She'd walked out on Sophie, and Liam left me to pick up the pieces, and now she wanted to tear our family apart again. I leaned forward, my fists tight. She doesn't get to take them, I said. Kate nodded, her pen flying. We'll bury her in court. Get me everything. Texts, bank records, proof she bailed. I left the July heat heavy and swore I'd fight like hell for my kids back home. Sophie was sketching storm clouds, her pencil stabbing the paper. Mom can't have us, she said, her voice fierce for a 10-year-old. Liam curled on the couch, clutched his stuffed dinosaur, silent since Ella's call. I knelt beside him, my hand on his shoulder. You're safe, buddy, I said, my voice steady. He nodded, but his eyes were distant. A 6-year-old's heart cracked by betrayal. I kept their routine tight school soccer bedtime stories while meeting clients by day, advising on portfolios to keep the mortgage paid. My dad Frank moved in temporarily, his gruff presence a lifeline. You're doing right, Owen, he'd say, flipping pancakes for the kids. But at night, Ella's words, I want my family, haunted me, her jasmine perfume. A ghost in our house. The first twist hit in August when Vince Malone, my PI, called me to a diner. He slid a USB drive across the table, his eyes grim. Ella's been busy, he said. The drive held photos Ella and Mitchell at a Raleigh bar weeks after she'd claimed he'd cheated and left. Her hand was on his arm, her smile too bright. They're back together. Vince said Mitchell's bankrolling her lawyer. Looks like he's pushing her to fight for the house. Probably wants to flip it. My blood roared. Ella playing the repentant mom while cozying up to Mitchell again. I gripped the table, the diner's neon buzzing. Get more. I told Vince I need proof. She's unfit. He nodded, slipping the drive back into his coat. I showed Kate the photos, her lips curling. This is gold, she said, drafting a motion to subpoena Ella's financials. If Mitchell's funding her, we'll prove she's prioritizing him over the kids. I nodded, but Sophie's storm cloud drawings and Liam's silence weighed on me. I took them to therapy, a soft-spoken woman named Dr. Lisa Harper, who helped Sophie vent her rage and Liam find words for his hurt. Mom left, Liam whispered one session, his dinosaur tight in his arms. Why does she want us now? I hugged him, my throat burning. We'll figure it out, bud, I said, but the question gnawed at me. The second twist came in September, when Ella showed up at the house unannounced, her SUV idling in the driveway. Sophie saw her first slamming her bedroom door. I met Ella at the porch. My arms crossed the evening air thick with pine. You don't just walk in, I said, my voice low. She wore a tailored blazer, her hair perfect, but her eyes were tired. I miss them, Owen, she said, stepping closer, her perfume stirring old memories. Let me see them. I blocked the door. You left them for Mitchell. Now you're back with him and you think you get to play mom. Her face fell, guilt flashing. I'm not with him, she lied, her voice shaky. I just want my kids. I pointed to her SUV. Go talk to my lawyer. She left, her taillights fading, but Sophie's door stayed shut. Her sobs muffled through the wood. Vince dug deeper, pulling Ella's bank records. The third twist. Mitchell had wired her $50,000 labeled consulting fees days before her custody filing. Kate pounced, filing to question Mitchell's influence in court. This shows she's unstable, Kate said, her eyes gleaming. No judge will give her custody with a shady ex-lover bankrolling her. I nodded, but the victory felt hollow. Sophie refused to talk about Ella, her anger a wall, while Liam started wetting the bed, his dinosaur now a constant shield. I upped their therapy sessions, my own exhaustion creeping in sleepless nights, client deadlines, the weight of being both parents. Frank saw it, clapping my shoulder. You're their rock, son, don't crack. I didn't, but the edges were fraying. The fourth twist hit in October at a school event. I dragged myself to Sophie's teacher, Ms. E. Clara Evans pulled me aside, her voice low. Sophie wrote an essay, she said, handing me a paper. It was titled, My Hero, detailing how I'd kept the family together after Ella left every late-night story and soccer game. She won't live with her mom, Clara added. She told me. I read it. Sophie's words a lifeline, but then Clara dropped a bomb. Ella's been emailing the school, claiming you're alienating the kids. Alienating. My blood boiled. Ella, who'd abandoned them, was spinning lies to paint me as the villain. I thanked Clara, pocketed the essay, and called Kate Ella's playing dirty. I said, shut it down. Kate grinned, already drafting a response. By November, the custody battle loomed, set for January. I hired a forensic accountant, Tara Lynch, to trace Mitchell's payments, proving Ella's ties to his shady deals. Vince tailed them, catching Mitchell and Ella at a hotel, her laughter echoing in photos that twisted my gut. I kept it from the kids, but Sophie sensed it, her drawings now. Black voids, Liam asked. Is Mom bad? I hugged him, the question a knife. She's just lost, Bud, I said, but I wasn't sure anymore. I fortified our home. New locks, tighter budgets, more time with the kids, while Kate built a case to crush Ella's claims. I wasn't just fighting for custody. I was fighting for the life I'd rebuilt from her betrayal. That night I stood in the backyard, the Raleigh Star's sharp Sophie's essay in my hand. Ella wanted our kids, our house, but I'd given everything to keep us whole. Could I forgive her return? Or was this a war only one of us could win? The Raleigh winter bit at my knuckles as I stood in the backyard, Sophie's My Hero essay crumpled in my fist, its words a shield against Ella's custody war. She'd left us for Mitchell Clayton, lied about their breakup, and now fought to take Sophie Liam and our home bankrolled by his dirty money, Kate Wheeler. My lawyer had built a fortress of evidence: Ella's abandonment, Mitchell's $50,000 consulting payments, photos of their hotel trysts. But the January court date loomed like a storm. Sophie's black void drawings and Liam's bedwetting were scars from Ella's betrayal, and I'd be damned if I let her rip them from me. I tucked the essay in my pocket, the stars sharp overhead, and vowed to fight not just for custody, but for the family I'd rebuilt from her ashes. Kate called me to her office in December, her desk piled with files. We've got Ella's lawyer on the ropes, she said, sliding over a report from Tara Lynch, the forensic accountant. Tara had traced Mitchell's payments to offshore accounts linked to fraudulent land deals with Ella's name on several transfers. She didn't know they were illegal, Kate said, but it proves she's entangled with a crook. No judge will trust her with kids. I nodded, my jaw tight, but Sophie's essay burned in my mind. She'd called me her hero, but heroes don't let their kids hurt. I called Vince Malone, my PI, and pushed for more. Find Mitchell's endgame, I said. He's not just funding her for love, Vince grunted on it, Owen. The first twist hit before Christmas at a school holiday concert where Sophie sang her voice clear despite the shadows in her eyes. I was clapping when Vince texted Mitchell's at a Raleigh penthouse. Ella's with him, got video. My phone buzzed with a clip. Ella and Mitchell in a heated argument on a balcony, her hands flailing his face cold. Vince called. He's pressuring her to sell the house post-custody, he said. Wants to develop the land. My blood boiled. Ella wasn't just after the kids, she and Mitchell were playing a long game to cash out our home. I forwarded the video to Kate, who grinned. This buries them, she said, filing it for court. But Liam, watching Sophie sing, tugged my sleeve. Is Mom coming? I hugged him, his dinosaur pressed between us. Just us tonight, Bud, I said, my heart cracking. I doubled down on the kids, taking them ice skating, baking cookies with Frank, who'd become their rock. Sophie's therapy with Dr. Lisa Harper helped her channel anger into words, but she refused to see Ella, her voice fierce. She left us, Dad. She doesn't get me. Liam was quieter, his bedwetting easing, but he'd draw pictures of our house, always with me and Sophie, never Ella. I kept their lives steady: school projects, client meetings, mortgage payments, while Kate prepped for court. Frank saw my exhaustion pouring coffee one dawn. You're their whole world. Owen, he said, don't doubt it, I didn't. But Ella's lies claiming I'd alienated the kids cut deep. Was I enough? The second twist came in early January when Kate got a tip from a court clerk. Ella's lawyer, a shark named Paul Grayson, planned to call a surprise witness. Mitchell Clayton. He'll claim you harassed. Ella made her leave. Kate said, her eyes narrowing. We need to discredit him first. I met Vince at a dive bar, the air thick with smoke. He slid me a folder. Mitchell's rap sheet: tax evasion, a dropped assault charge, and a pending SEC investigation for fraud. He's radioactive. Vince said Grayson's insane to put him on the stand. I handed it to Kate, who filed to question Mitchell's credibility. If he testifies, she said, we'll shred him. I nodded, but the thought of Mitchell in court spinning lies about me fueled my rage. I punched a bag at the gym that night, the Raleigh cold seeping into my bones. Sophie's essay, my anchor. The third twist hit days before the trial when Ella showed up at the house uninvited, her SUV gleaming under the streetlights. Sophie was at a sleepover. Liam asleep upstairs. I met her on the porch. My arms crossed the air crisp. I'm dropping the custody fight, she said, her voice low, eyes red. Mitchell's leaving me. I can't do this. My pulse spiked. Suspicion drowning relief. Why now, I asked. She looked away, her scarf fluttering. I saw Sophie's essay. She hates me. I don't want to hurt them more. I studied her. The woman I'd loved, now a stranger. You hurt them when you left. I said, my voice steel. She nodded, tears falling. I know, I'm sorry. Owen, sorry, I pointed to her car. Go, she drove off, but her surrender felt like a trap. I called Kate, who was skeptical. She might be gaming the judge. She said, stay sharp. The trial began January 15th, 2025, in a Raleigh courtroom. The wood panels cold under my hands. Kate presented our case. Ella's abandonment bank records showing her absence. Sophie's essay. Liam's therapy notes. Sophie called to speak, stood tall, her voice clear. I want to stay with Dad, she said, glaring at Ella. He never left us. The judge nodded, her face unreadable. Grayson called Mitchell, who took the stand, his suit pristine, claiming I'd driven Ella away. Kate tore into him, flashing his rap sheet, the SEC probe, and Vince's video. Is it true you pressured Ms. Preston to sell her home for profit? Kate asked, her voice a blade. Mitchell stammered. The courtroom buzzing. Grayson withdrew him, his case crumbling. Ella sat silent, her eyes down, no tears now. The fourth twist came mid-trial, when Dr. Harper testified Sophie and Liam thrive with Owen. She said, her voice calm. Ella's absence caused significant trauma. Then she dropped a bomb. Ella had contacted her, offering gifts to sway the kids, which Sophie rejected. Ms. Preston's focus is on control, not connection, Harper said. I gripped my chair. Stunned. Ella bribing my kids. The judge's pen paused, her eyes sharp. Kate leaned in, whispering, we've got her. The courtroom felt electric. My kids' future hanging in the balance. The judge ruled on January 20th, full custody to me. The house mine. Ella granted supervised visits if the kids agreed. Sophie hugged me, her smile fierce, while Liam clung to his dinosaur, whispering, we're okay, Dad. Ella left without a word, her SUV vanishing into the Raleigh dusk. Kate clapped my shoulder. You did it, Owen. I nodded, but the wind felt heavy. I'd protected my kids, but at what cost to their hearts? Spring brought a new rhythm. Sophie's drawings brightened. Liam's nightmares faded, and Frank moved back to his place, his gruff hugs a constant. I met Claire Donovan, a pediatric nurse, at Liam's checkup, her warm laugh a spark in my gray world. She didn't push, just shared coffee, listened to Sophie's soccer stories, and never asked about Ella. One night, Claire left a note on my car. You're doing great. Owen keeps shining. I smiled, the first real one in months, and tucked it in my wallet. Now I'm in our backyard, Sophie kicking a soccer ball. Liam chasing fireflies, the Raleigh stars soft above. Ella's visits are rare, Sophie's choice and Liam's warming to her, but I'm their anchor. Claire's laugh echoes in my mind, a possibility, not a promise. I've got my kids, my home, my fight. But could I open my heart again, or is trust a bridge too far? What would you do? Forgive a betrayer for your kids, or build a new future alone? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button and subscribe to Viora for more stories that rip you apart and lift you up.